Welcome to the story of Jasmine Pineda's downfall. In the glittering world of reality TV, love stories are born in front of millions, and sometimes they die there too. Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo were once the golden couple of 90 Day Fiancé. Their chemistry was electric, their arguments iconic, and their love story, though unconventional, captivated fans across the globe, but forever came with secrets. Behind the scenes, Jasmine was hiding something: a new love, a new life, and a new man, Matt. What began as a fairy tale ended in betrayal, heartbreak, and a shocking twist no one saw coming. Jasmine's confession would destroy her marriage, but Matt's betrayal would destroy her. Yes, you heard that right. Recently, 90 Day Fiancé star Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo began facing intense relationship turmoil. Once built on love and trust, their bond slowly started to crumble. It was later revealed that Jasmine Pineda had been secretly involved in a deep romantic relationship with Matt. When both the fans and Gino Palazzolo discovered Jasmine and Matt's hidden affair, Jasmine openly told Gino, "I will not stay with you. I am carrying Matt's child, and I will only marry him." This confession led to serious marital conflict between Jasmine and Gino, and eventually, they decided to finalize their divorce. However, when Jasmine Pineda expressed her wish to marry Matt, he firmly told her, "Jasmine, I can't marry you. I'm going to marry my secret girlfriend, Anna, this coming January." Hearing this, Jasmine Pineda was left heartbroken. She has now lost both Gino Palazzolo and Matt, and is emotionally devastated. Let's start from the beginning. Before the heartbreak, before the scandal, there was love. Jasmine Pineda, a fiery and passionate Panamanian school teacher, met Gino Palazzolo, a quirky, hat-loving engineer from Michigan, through an international dating site. Their connection was instant. Gino was captivated by Jasmine's beauty and intensity, while Jasmine found Gino's awkward charm oddly endearing. Their relationship quickly escalated. Gino flew to Panama, and the cameras of 90 Day Fiancé followed. What viewers saw was a whirlwind romance filled with laughter, cultural clashes, and explosive arguments. Jasmine's jealousy was legendary. She once demanded Gino delete every photo of his exes. Gino, in turn, struggled to balance Jasmine's fiery temperament with his own quiet demeanor. But beneath the drama, there was genuine affection. Gino proposed with a modest ring, and Jasmine, tears in her eyes, said yes. Fans were divided. Some saw red flags. Others saw a couple willing to fight for love. When Jasmine finally arrived in the US on a K-1 visa, it felt like the beginning of a new chapter. They moved into Gino's modest Michigan home, decorated with plastic plants and memories of a bachelor life. Jasmine, used to tropical warmth and vibrant city life, struggled to adjust, but she tried. For Gino, they planned their wedding. They talked about children. They even considered moving to Florida for a fresh start. For a moment, it seemed like they might actually make it. But love, as we know, is never simple. And for Jasmine and Gino, the seeds of destruction were already planted. Because while Jasmine was building a life with Gino, someone else had already entered her heart. And his name was Matt. Love doesn't die overnight. It erodes, slowly, silently, and often in ways no one sees until it's too late. For Jasmine and Gino, the honeymoon phase was short-lived. Once the cameras stopped rolling and the reality of living together set in, their differences became impossible to ignore. Jasmine, passionate and expressive, needed constant emotional reassurance. Gino, reserved and methodical, struggled to meet her emotional demands. Their fights became more frequent, and their silences more painful. One of the earliest cracks was jealousy. Jasmine's insecurity flared whenever Gino interacted with other women. Even casually, she demanded access to his phone, his social media, and even his email. Gino, trying to appease her, gave in. But each concession only fed Jasmine's suspicion. She accused him of hiding things. He accused her of being controlling. And in the middle of it all, love began to suffocate. The distance between them wasn't just emotional, it was cultural. Jasmine missed Panama. She missed her family, her friends, her language. Michigan felt cold, both literally and figuratively. Gino tried to make her feel at home, but his world was small, quiet, and unfamiliar to her. They began sleeping in separate rooms after arguments. Jasmine would cry alone in the bathroom, while Gino buried himself in work. Their once playful banter turned into passive-aggressive jabs. Even their wedding plans became a battlefield. Jasmine wanted a beach ceremony. Gino insisted on something simple and local. And then came the control. Gino, feeling overwhelmed, began setting boundaries. He asked Jasmine to tone down her emotional outbursts. He wanted peace, but Jasmine saw it as rejection. She felt unloved, unwanted, and unheard. She started spending more time online, chatting with friends, joining forums, and eventually reconnecting with someone she hadn't spoken to in years. Matt. At first, it was innocent. A few messages, a few laughs, but Matt listened. He understood her. He made her feel seen. And that feeling of being understood was something Jasmine hadn't felt with Gino in months. The cracks were now visible. Their love was bleeding, and Jasmine was drifting. She didn't know it yet, but her heart was already halfway out the door, and Matt was waiting on the other side. Every betrayal has a beginning, and Jasmine's began with a message. Matt wasn't a stranger. He was someone from Jasmine's past. A quiet presence who had once been just a friend, a confidant. They met years ago through a mutual acquaintance in Panama. Back then, Jasmine was still teaching, still dreaming, still untouched by the chaos of reality TV. Matt was visiting for work, and they bonded over books, music, and long conversations about life. They lost touch. Life moved on. Jasmine met Gino. Matt returned to the US. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. It started with a simple, "Hey, how have you been?" message on social media. Jasmine, feeling isolated in Michigan and emotionally starved in her relationship, responded. The conversation was light at first, memories, jokes, updates, but soon it turned deeper. Matt asked how she was really doing. Jasmine opened up. She told him about the fights, the loneliness, the feeling of being trapped in a life that didn't feel like hers. Matt listened. He didn't judge. He didn't interrupt. He just understood. And Jasmine, desperate for connection, began to lean on him. They started talking daily. Texts turned into calls. Calls turned into video chats. Jasmine began smiling again, laughing, glowing, feeling alive. Gino noticed the change, but he didn't know the cause. He thought maybe Jasmine was finally adjusting to life in the US. But Jasmine wasn't adjusting. She was escaping. Matt, meanwhile, was falling too. He admired Jasmine's strength, her vulnerability, her fire. He told her she deserved better. He told her she was beautiful. He told her he wished things were different. And Jasmine, aching for affection, began to believe him. They made plans to meet. Jasmine told Gino she was visiting a friend in Chicago. In reality, she met Matt at a quiet hotel near the lake. They spent the weekend together, talking, walking, and eventually crossing the line. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Jasmine felt seen in a way Gino hadn't made her feel in months. Matt made her feel like a woman again. Not just a wife, not just a reality TV character, but a person. That weekend changed everything. Jasmine returned home with the secret. Gino welcomed her back with flowers. But Jasmine's heart was no longer his. Matt had lit a flame inside her, and it was burning everything in its path. Secrets have a way of growing in silence, and Jasmine's secret was now thriving. After her weekend with Matt, Jasmine returned to Michigan with a heart full of conflict. Gino greeted her with warmth, unaware that the woman he loved had just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Jasmine tried to act normal. She cooked dinner. She laughed at Gino's jokes. She even kissed him goodnight. But her mind was elsewhere, replaying moments with Matt, reading his texts, and imagining a life that felt more real than the one she was living. The affair didn't end with that weekend. It evolved. Jasmine and Matt began speaking in code. They used encrypted apps. Jasmine saved his number under a fake name. She deleted messages, cleared call logs, and created a second email account. It was a double life, one filled with passion, excitement, and danger. Matt, too, was falling deeper. He sent her gifts, perfume, jewelry, even a handwritten letter. Jasmine kept them hidden in a shoebox under the bed. She told herself it wasn't wrong. She told herself she deserved happiness. But guilt has a voice, and it started whispering. Jasmine began snapping at Gino more often. She accused him of being distant, of not caring, of being emotionally unavailable. Gino, confused and hurt, tried harder. He planned date nights. He bought her flowers. He even suggested couples therapy. But Jasmine wasn't looking for repair. She was looking for escape. She started spending weekends with friends. She claimed she needed space. Gino, trusting her, gave it. And Jasmine used that space to build a fantasy with Matt. They talked about moving in together, about starting fresh, about having a child. And then, one night, Jasmine felt something shift. A missed period, a wave of nausea, a quiet panic. She took a test. It was positive. Jasmine stared at the result for hours. Her hands trembled. Her heart raced. She knew it wasn't Gino's. It was Matt's. The affair was no longer just emotional or physical. It was now biological. A new life had entered the equation, and Jasmine's world was about to implode. She had a choice to make. Stay silent and live a lie, or tell the truth and face the storm. She chose the storm, because some secrets are too heavy to carry, and Jasmine was about to drop the weight. Some truths don't just hurt, they destroy. Jasmine had rehearsed the moment in her mind 100 times. She imagined Gino's face, his reaction, the silence that would follow. But no amount of preparation could soften the blow of what she was about to say. It was a quiet Tuesday evening. Gino had just returned from work, tired but cheerful. He brought home takeout, Jasmine's favorite Thai curry, and suggested they watch a movie together. Jasmine sat across from him, barely touching her food. Her hands trembled, her heart pounded. Gino noticed. "Are you okay?" He'd asked gently. Jasmine took a deep breath. "We need to talk." Those 4 words froze the room. Gino put down his fork. "What's going on?" Jasmine looked him in the eyes. "I've been seeing someone else." Silence. Gino blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" "I've been in a relationship with someone. His name is Matt. It started months ago. I met him before I came to Michigan. We reconnected, and it wasn't just emotional." Gino's face turned pale. His lips parted, but no words came out. Jasmine continued, her voice cracking. "I'm pregnant, and it's not yours. It's Matt's." The room collapsed into silence. Gino stood up, pacing, his hands on his head. "You're joking. This is a joke, right?" "I'm not joking," Jasmine whispered. "I'm carrying Matt's child, and I'm going to marry him." Gino's world shattered. The woman he had fought for, sacrificed for, brought across borders, was now telling him she was leaving for another man, with another man's child. He sat down stunned. "Why? Why would you do this?" Jasmine wiped her tears. "Because I stopped feeling loved. I stopped feeling seen. You were here, but you weren't with me. Matt made me feel alive again." Gino's voice cracked. "I gave you everything." "I know," Jasmine said, "and I'm sorry, but I can't stay. I won't stay." That night, Gino slept on the couch. Jasmine cried herself to sleep in the bedroom. The next morning, they didn't speak. By the end of the week, Jasmine had packed her bags. The divorce papers were filed within days. Their love story, once filled with passion and promise, was now reduced to legal documents and broken hearts. But Jasmine believed she was walking toward a new beginning. She didn't know that Matt had a secret of his own, and it would break her more than Gino ever could. Betrayal doesn't just break hearts, it rewires them. After Jasmine's confession, Gino Palazzolo was no longer the man viewers had come to know. The quirky engineer with the signature hat, once full of awkward charm and quiet devotion, was now hollowed out by heartbreak. He didn't cry, not at first. He didn't scream. He just sat in silence, staring at the wall. replaying Jasmine's words over and over. Greater than, I'm carrying Matt's child. I will only marry him. It echoed like a curse. The next morning, Gino didn't go to work. He didn't eat. He didn't speak. Jasmine moved around the house like a ghost, packing her things, avoiding eye contact. The air between them was thick with grief and rage. When Gino finally spoke, it wasn't anger. It was devastation. Greater than, was I ever enough for you? Jasmine didn't answer. She couldn't. Gino's breakdown came in waves. First, the denial. He called Jasmine's sister, hoping it was all a misunderstanding. Then came the rage. He smashed a photo frame, the one from their engagement in Panama. He deleted every picture of Jasmine from his phone. He blocked her on social media. But the pain lingered. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't focus. Friends reached out, but Gino withdrew. He stopped filming for 90 Day Fiancé. TLC producers tried to check in, but Gino refused to speak on camera. He was done being a storyline. His life had become too real. The divorce process was swift. Jasmine signed the papers without hesitation. Gino, though shattered, didn't fight it. He knew there was nothing left to salvage. But closure didn't come with signatures. Gino began seeing a therapist. He started journaling. He joined online support groups for men dealing with infidelity. Slowly, he began to process the trauma, not just of losing Jasmine, but of being blindsided by someone he had trusted with everything. He questioned everything. Was he too passive? Too trusting? Did he miss the signs? The answers didn't matter. The damage was done. And yet, in the quiet aftermath, Gino began to rebuild. He started working out. He reconnected with old friends. He even went on a few casual dates. Nothing serious, just reminders that life could still offer warmth. But the scars remained. Jasmine had left him for another man, and that man was about to leave her too. Gino didn't know it yet, but karma was already circling, and Jasmine's perfect fantasy was about to collapse. Just when Jasmine thought she had escaped heartbreak, it came back, twice as cruel. After leaving Gino, Jasmine felt liberated. She was finally freed from the emotional cage she believed she had been trapped in. She imagined a new life with Matt, a cozy home, a baby on the way, and a man who truly understood her. But Matt had secrets too. It started with subtle changes. He stopped replying to texts as quickly. Their calls grew shorter. He cancelled a weekend visit, claiming work stress. Jasmine, hormonal and emotionally raw, tried to stay calm, but her instincts screamed that something was wrong. One night, she confronted him. Greater than Matt, are you hiding something from me? Matt hesitated, then he sighed. Greater than Jasmine, I need to tell you something. I didn't know how to say it. Jasmine's heart dropped. Greater than, I'm getting married in January. Silence. Greater than, to Elizabeth, she's my girlfriend. We've been together for over a year. Jasmine froze. Her breath caught in her throat. What are you talking about? I'm pregnant. With your child. Matt looked down. I didn't plan this. I didn't expect it. But I love Elizabeth. I can't leave her. Jasmine's world collapsed. She had left her husband. She had destroyed her marriage. She had risked everything for a man who was never truly hers. Greater than, you told me you loved me, she whispered. Greater than, I did. I do. But not enough to marry you. It was the final blow. Jasmine screamed. She cried. She begged. But Matt's decision was firm. He apologized, said he'd support the baby financially, but emotionally, he was gone. Elizabeth, Matt's fiancé, knew nothing. Jasmine debated reaching out, exposing the affair. But she didn't. She couldn't. She was too broken. In 1 month, Jasmine had lost everything. Gino, her husband, her home, her stability. Matt, her lover, her dream, her future. And now, she was pregnant, alone, and emotionally devastated. She stopped posting on social media. She withdrew from friends. TLC producers tried to reach her for a follow-up interview, but Jasmine refused. She didn't want to be a storyline anymore. She was living a tragedy. Her fans, once divided, now flooded forums with sympathy. Some blamed Matt. Others blamed Jasmine. But one thing was clear. She was no longer the fiery, confident woman they had watched on screen. She was broken. And the baby growing inside her was the only thing keeping her grounded. But even that came with fear. Would she raise the child alone? Would Matt disappear completely? Would Gino ever forgive her? The answers were unclear. But Jasmine's pain was real. And her story was far from over. Heartbreak is cruel. But abandonment, that's a different kind of pain. After Matt's confession, Jasmine Pineda was left standing in emotional ruins. She had sacrificed her marriage, her reputation, and her stability, all for a man who was never truly hers. Now, she was pregnant and alone. The days that followed were dark. Jasmine stopped answering calls. She deleted her Instagram. She refused interviews from 90-Day Fiancé producers. The woman who once lit up screens with her fiery personality had gone silent. Inside her small apartment, Jasmine barely moved. She lay in bed for hours, staring at the ceiling, replaying every decision that led her here. The betrayal from Matt cut deeper than she expected. He had promised her a future. He had made her believe in love again. And then, with one sentence, he shattered it all. Greater than, "I'm going to marry Elizabeth." Jasmine couldn't eat. Her body ached. Her mind spiraled. She cried until her voice disappeared. She screamed into pillows. She punched walls. And then, she went numb. She was carrying a child. Matt's child. A baby conceived in passion, now growing in grief. She considered calling Gino, just to talk, just to hear a familiar voice. But shame held her back. She had broken him. She had humiliated him. And now, she had no right to ask for comfort. Her friends tried to reach out. Her sister sent voice notes. Her mother begged her to come back to Panama. But Jasmine refused. She didn't want anyone to see her like this, fragile, broken, defeated. She began journaling. Late at night, she'd write letters to her unborn child. Greater than, "I'm sorry. I didn't plan this, but I promise I'll love you." She started attending prenatal appointments alone. Nurses asked about the father. Jasmine lied. "He's not in the picture," she'd say, forcing a smile. The loneliness was suffocating. Every ultrasound reminded her of what she had lost. Not just Gino, not just Matt, but the version of herself that believed in love. She began therapy, slowly, quietly. She talked about her childhood, her insecurities, her need to feel wanted. The therapist listened, validated, encouraged, and Jasmine began to heal. Not quickly, not completely, but enough to stand up, enough to breathe, enough to whisper to herself, "Greater than, I will survive this." She didn't know what the future held. She didn't know if Matt would ever meet his child. She didn't know if Gino would ever forgive her. But she knew one thing. She was still here, and that mattered. In the world of reality TV, secrets don't stay buried for long. Just weeks after Jasmine Pineda's affair and pregnancy revelation, the story leaked online. A behind-the-scenes crew member from 90-Day Fiancé anonymously posted details on a fan forum. Within hours, Jasmine's name was trending. The headlines were brutal. Greater than, Jasmine Pineda leaves Gino for another man. Now pregnant and abandoned. Greater than, 90-Day Fiancé scandal. Jasmine's lover Matt is engaged to someone else. Social media exploded. Reddit threads dissected every moment of Jasmine and Gino's relationship. TikTok creators reenacted the confession scene. YouTube commentators uploaded reaction videos, some sympathetic, others savage. The backlash was swift and merciless. Fans who once adored Jasmine now called her a manipulator. They accused her of using Gino for a visa, of betraying his trust, of chasing fame. Others blamed Matt, calling him a coward and a liar. Elizabeth, Matt's fiancée, became an unexpected symbol of innocence. The woman who didn't know. Jasmine's Instagram, once filled with selfies and motivational quotes, was flooded with comments. Greater than, "You broke Gino's heart for this." Greater than, "Matt played you." "Karma's real." Greater than, "I used to love you. Now, I just feel sorry." But not everyone turned against her. Some fans defended Jasmine, pointing to her emotional struggles and cultural isolation. They argued that Gino had failed to meet her emotional needs. They said Matt was the real villain, a man who led her on, then left her pregnant and alone. Mental health advocates urged compassion. "This is a woman in crisis." One tweet read, "She needs support, not shame." TLC remained silent. No official statement, no interviews. But insiders hinted that Jasmine's storyline was being restructured. Producers debated whether to include her in future episodes or spin off her journey into a solo special. Meanwhile, Gino's popularity surged. He was seen as the heartbroken hero, the man who gave everything and lost it all. Fans sent him messages of support. Some even started a Justice for Gino campaign, demanding TLC give him a redemption arc. Jasmine, watching the storm unfold, felt exposed. Her private pain was now public entertainment. She considered deleting all her accounts. She considered leaving the country. But she stayed, quietly, watching, processing. Because behind every comment, every meme, every headline, was a woman trying to survive. And the world wasn't done watching her fall. Some heartbreaks break you, others rebuild you. After the divorce, Gino Palazzolo disappeared from the spotlight. Fans speculated. Was he depressed? Was he angry? Would he ever return to 90-Day Fiancé? But Gino wasn't hiding. He was healing. The betrayal had left scars, deep ones. Jasmine's affair, her pregnancy with another man, and her cold departure had shattered his trust. But Gino refused to let it define him. He started small. Therapy became his anchor. Week after week, he unpacked the trauma. He talked about his childhood, his insecurities, his need to be loved. He cried. He reflected. He grew. Then came the physical transformation. Gino joined a local gym. He changed his diet. He ditched the fast food and started cooking. Slowly, his body changed. He lost weight. His posture improved. He smiled more. And then, he took off the hat. For years, Gino's signature baseball cap had been his shield. But now, he wanted to face the world without armor. He posted a photo online, hatless, confident, and reborn. Fans went wild. Greater than Gino looks amazing. Greater than this is the glow-up we needed. Greater than justice for Gino. TLC producers reached out. They wanted him back. Not as a heartbroken ex, but as a man on a journey. Gino agreed. He filmed a short segment for 90 Day, The Single Life. It showed him dating again, awkwardly, sweetly, and with a new sense of self-worth. He met a woman named Marissa. She was kind, grounded, and nothing like Jasmine. Their chemistry wasn't explosive, but it was peaceful. They went hiking. They cooked together. They talked about books and travel. Gino didn't rush. He didn't promise forever. He was learning to love slowly. Meanwhile, his fan base grew. He became a symbol of resilience. Podcasts invited him to speak. Mental health advocates praised his vulnerability. Even former cast members reached out with support. But Gino never gloated. He never dragged Jasmine's name. In interviews, he simply said, "Greater than, I loved her. I gave her everything." But sometimes, love isn't enough. He focused on growth, on peace, on rebuilding. And while Jasmine was still navigating her own storm, Gino had found his calm. He wasn't the same man who once begged for love. He was stronger, wiser, free. And for the first time in years, he looked in the mirror and saw someone he respected. The redemption arc was real. And Gino Palazzolo had earned it. Some heartbreaks are private, others unfold like a cruel performance. For Jasmine Pineda, Matt's betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. After telling her he couldn't marry her, Matt vanished from her life. No calls, no texts, no updates, just silence. Until the wedding announcement. It came through a mutual friend's Instagram story, an elegant save-the-date card with gold lettering. Greater than Matt and Elizabeth, January 18th, 2025, Chicago, IL. Jasmine's heart stopped. She stared at the screen, her hands trembling. The man who had promised her love, who had fathered her child, was now preparing to marry someone else. And he hadn't even told her the date. The days leading up to the wedding were torture. Jasmine tried to block it out, but the internet wouldn't let her. Photos surfaced. Elizabeth shopping for her dress, Matt posing with his groomsmen, the venue being decorated with white roses and crystal chandeliers. Jasmine watched it all unfold from her apartment, alone and pregnant. She considered crashing the wedding. She considered sending Elizabeth the truth. But she didn't. She couldn't. She was too broken, too ashamed, too afraid of being seen as the villain again. On the day of the wedding, Jasmine stayed in bed. She imagined the ceremony. Matt standing at the altar, Elizabeth walking down the aisle, vows being exchanged, rings being slipped onto fingers, a kiss sealing a future that Jasmine had once dreamed of. She cried for hours. Not just for Matt, but for herself, for the woman she used to be, for the choices she made, for the love she lost, for the child she was now carrying alone. Matt didn't reach out, not even after the wedding. No apology, no explanation, just silence. Jasmine felt erased. She wasn't just heartbroken, she was humiliated. She had left her husband for a fantasy. And now, that fantasy was married to someone else. The internet buzzed with wedding photos. Fans of 90 Day Fiancé speculated. Some recognized Matt from Jasmine's leaked scandal. Others pieced together the timeline. The backlash reignited. Greater than Matt played Jasmine and still got his happy ending. Greater than Elizabeth deserves to know the truth. Greater than Jasmine should have never left Gino. But Jasmine didn't respond. She didn't post. She didn't speak. She simply stared at the ceiling, one hand on her belly, whispering to her unborn child. Greater than, I'm sorry. I didn't choose right, but I'll choose you. The wedding was beautiful. But for Jasmine, it marked the ugliest day of her life. Motherhood is often painted as a beautiful beginning, but for Jasmine Pineda, it began in silence. No baby shower, no partner holding her hand, no excited family waiting at the hospital, just Jasmine, alone, exhausted, and terrified. Her pregnancy had been a lonely road. Matt had vanished after his wedding. Gino had moved on. And Jasmine, once the center of attention on 90 Day Fiancé, was now just another woman trying to survive. She gave birth in early October. A quiet hospital room. No cameras. No drama. Just pain, sweat, and tears. When the baby arrived, a boy with Matt's eyes, Jasmine cried harder than she ever had. Not because of joy, but because of grief. She named him Mateo, a bittersweet tribute to the man who gave her a child, but not a future. The first few weeks were brutal. Sleepless nights, endless diapers, postpartum depression. Jasmine struggled to bond with Mateo. She loved him deeply, but she also resented the circumstances. Every cry reminded her of Matt. Every smile reminded her of what she'd lost. Financially, things were tight. Jasmine had no steady income. TLC had paused her appearances. Sponsorships dried up. She sold some jewelry. She considered returning to teaching, but her visa status complicated things. She applied for assistance. She joined single mom forums. She found comfort in strangers, women who had walked similar paths. Slowly, she began to rebuild. She created a private blog, not for fame, not for followers, just for healing. She wrote about betrayal, motherhood, and resilience. Her words were raw, honest, and painful. Some fans found it. They shared it. And Jasmine's story began to resonate again, not as a scandal, but as a survival tale. She started therapy again, this time focused on motherhood, on identity, on forgiveness. She didn't forgive Matt, not yet, but she forgave herself. Bit by bit, she stopped asking why me, and started asking what now. Mateo became her anchor, her reason, her light. She took him on walks. She read him stories. She whispered to him every night, "Greater than, you're not a mistake. You're my miracle." And slowly, Jasmine began to smile again. Not the smile of a woman in love, but the smile of a woman who had been broken and chose to rise. Her reality was far from perfect, but it was hers. And for the first time in a long time, Jasmine Pineda was no longer chasing love. She was building it, from the ground up. Every story has an ending, but not every ending is final. Jasmine Pineda's journey has been one of love, betrayal, heartbreak, and survival. From the moment she met Gino Palazzolo, her life became a whirlwind of passion, drama, and public scrutiny. She chased love across borders, sacrificed comfort for connection, and ultimately lost everything in the pursuit of happiness. Now, she stands at a crossroads. She is no longer the fiery fiancé on 90 Day Fiancé. She is no longer the woman torn between two men. She is a mother, a survivor, a woman who has faced the darkest parts of herself and lived to tell the tale. But what comes next? Jasmine has begun to rebuild, quietly, privately. She's raising her son Matteo with tenderness and resolve. She's writing again, healing again, breathing again. But the scars remain. She still battles loneliness. She still wonders if love will ever return. She still questions the choices that led her here. And the world still watches. Will TLC invite her back for a redemption arc? Will she share her story in a memoir? Will she find love again, or choose to walk alone? Gino has moved on. Matt is married. The chapter with both men is closed. But Jasmine's book isn't finished. She has the strength. She has the voice. She has the story. The question is, will she rise? Or will she remain a cautionary tale? Jasmine Pineda's life has been a roller coaster of love, loss, and lessons. She's been adored, judged, betrayed, and broken. But she's still standing. So now we ask you, is Jasmine Pineda a woman reborn or a heart forever shattered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about love, choices, and the price of chasing happiness. And if you've ever loved someone who broke you or walked away from someone who loved you, this story might be yours too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real-life drama, emotional deep dives, and stories that stay with you. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay true. More update. 90 Day Fiance. Jasmine Pineda spills her biggest regret from her chaotic and crazy journey with Matt and Gino. And Elizabeth sides with Jasmine, stood against Gino during heated clash at Tell All. Jasmine Pineda confirms she's getting her own cooking show on TLC, leaving the show. And Matt Brainius breaks his mom's trust after spilling Jasmine's truth. I'm disappointed. I will explain everything. Famous 90 Day Fiance couple Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo are now taking stock of their relationship. Everything was indeed chaotic and crazy, and she is now finally acknowledging that. I repeat, that is correct. It would appear that Jasmine is being extremely forthright about her feelings of remorse and the ways in which she wishes she had handled things differently. However, this is far from the end of the story. Jasmine revealed her present marital status and the current phase of her relationship with Matt. In addition to discussing the present dynamics, she is not holding back. Is that so? Please tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what she unveiled. Because this is a very contentious topic. You should read on to find out more. Jasmine Pineda, star of 90 Day Fiance, has come out and said that she would never be able to dislike Gino Palazzolo. She thinks her love for him was so strong that she could never truly despise him. That being said, it is not true that Jasmine and Gino remained in touch. During the tell-all portion, she disclosed that she had their last conversation, but they still have a lot of questions and things to figure out. Seeing him say the things he's saying about me makes me sad, Jasmine remarked. Also, he's so kind of vindictive, and there is so much hate that he has for me, she continued. Although the famous person was willing to have a heart-to-heart talk with Gino, she did say that she wasn't a fan of his approach. So long as he stops hating her, she wants him to tell her everything. Jasmine Pineda is finally taking responsibility for her action, and the relationship between her and Gino Palazzolo, who appeared on 90 Day Fiance, has ended. She was very honest in an interview with Extra about the things she could have done differently to save her marriage. Accordingly, she now wishes she had done things differently. On the other hand, Jasmine and Gino's divorce is still ongoing, because Matilda and her paternity were also involved. She explained, things were extremely fouled up. To make sure her daughter stayed with her, Jasmine said she was going to great lengths. And what about Matt, though? It would appear that Jasmine is quite vocal about her new romantic partner. Jasmine shared that she and Matt were now in the process of getting to know each other better. However, they aren't exactly having it easy. They need to work through their differences and co-parent their daughter at the same time. Pineda went so far as to say that she and Matt were still discovering the nature of their love and the relationships between them. Even the trajectory of her relationship with Matt was recounted by Jasmine. The second was just an unknown individual who showed up at her gym for a routine workout. Since Gino wasn't prepared to do that, he soon started dropping her off at her house. Because of this, Jasmine felt safe enough to confide in him about her marital problems. Well, Matt went from being an unknown to Jasmine's lifelong companion. Elizabeth's sides with Jasmine stood against Gino during heated clash at Tell All. 30-day commitment once again. Tell All is delivering the drama, and this time, the cast is obviously picking a side. Elizabeth Pothast intervened to protect Jasmine Pineda during the ensuing altercation with Gino, which escalated the situation dramatically. Surprisingly, she took her side, which made her co-star's estranged spouse furious. The reality TV personality became involved in the feud while residing at the happily ever after Tell All with the other cast members. In Season 9, fans may look forward to a reunion that will consist of 4 parts. They are already anticipating tense confrontations and dramatic scenes in the next segment. Nonetheless, the latest sneak peek implies that there will be a number of couples who will take sides and involve others in their drama. What were the public's reactions? Does Libby truly believe that Jasmine is right? Fans of 90 Day Fiancé can't wait for Happily Ever After Tell All to air because they want non-stop drama. TLC has already given viewers a sneak peek at the dramatic episode, which promises heartfelt confessions, intense arguments, and total mayhem. Nevertheless, viewers were somewhat aback to learn that the forthcoming pieces will actually be divided into 4 parts. Bringing the whole cast to a resort to ramp up the drama was the network's go-to strategy. The upcoming segment summary, according to Shabuti, specifies 4 parts of the tell-all. What this implies is that there won't be a single tell-all segment airing to end the season. Their rebranding to Tell-All No Limits suggests an infinite amount of drama. Every pair will go to the resort in New Jersey for the first half of the reunion, which will premiere on November 9. Following their tumultuous relationship, Jasmine Pineda and Matt Brannis will confront Gino and share the resort with him. Popcorn is at the ready, 90 Day Fiancé viewers, because the next segment is going to be very chaotic and full of drama. Just recently, the preview showed Gino stepping in on Jasmine when she was talking to other girls at the pool. "Jasmine, are you really bringing me into this?" he demanded. He was about to ruin their lovely evening when Elizabeth stepped in and implored him to stop. She inquired, "She's not bringing you up in conversation. We're just having fun as girls." Therefore, the American actress advised her co-star to give the girl a chance to speak. Similarly, Darcy thought Gino ought to give them space. The second one wanted to make it clear that he doesn't want people bringing him up in conversation. Libby made a joke about how her co-star is unable to control their speech. "He can only find solace in his continued destruction of my life," Jasmine added. She took a sip of her drink and strolled out. The accusation of infidelity and lying from Gino's ex-partner persisted. Pineda reasoned that he had caused enough harm to her life that she could finally tell her story. To turn the tables on her, Gino accused her of being dishonest and deceitful. He accused her of being unfaithful, and Kara agreed with him, according to ET. Curiously, Jasmine instructed the 90 Day Fiancé star to lodge a complaint with ICE, ensuring that she didn't care one way or the other. Reddit users praised her for her firm stance and the manner she silenced him. However, they were taken aback by Libby's decision to support Jasmine. After Jasmine's supposed infidelity incident, Kara accused her of being unfaithful, which shocked others. Jasmine Pineda confirms she's getting her own cooking show on TLC, leaving the show. It appears that 90 Day Fiancé star Jasmine Pineda is up to no good this time. Fans are already giddy with anticipation, as she seems to be hinting at her major milestone. In all likelihood, the reality TV star is making a living doing what she loves: cooking. A Healing in the Kitchen with Jazzy has been Pineda's most recent culinary series, and viewers have been responding well. She is supposedly getting ready to star in her own TV series, according to her fans. The reality TV star has big plans to leave the industry and start her own thing. Even though Jasmine has been in the spotlight before, her time as a reality TV star is coming to a close. She may have therefore devised a novel strategy to remain in the limelight. Then why do supporters have this belief? Is that so? Nobody seems prepared to listen to Jasmine Pineda rant, scream, and cause drama on 90 Day Fiancé for the rest of her life. At last, she has reason to anticipate a life free of turmoil and uncertainty. As a kind of self-care, the TLC star has taken up cooking. Someone new is emerging from Jasmine. Her softer side and the dramatic shift in her demeanor have been well received by her legion of fans. When the reality TV personality revealed her true ambitions, it shocked her viewers. A list of the things that Jasmine's baby daddy wants his future wife to follow was provided by her. Becoming a traditional wife may be in her future, she implied. This Panamanian woman went so far as to seek her fans for advice on how stay-at-home parents may make a living. In an idyllic setting, Pineda intends to raise her two sons, Matilda and Matt. It seems like Jasmine Pineda is hiding something from her fans. A press tour took her to the Big Apple. But when she hinted at a major announcement while on her tour, her admirers were taken aback. The star of 90 Day Fiancé posted a selfie from her car while clutching a TLC-branded bag. Pineda shared a new selfie of her daughter Matilda dozing off in her embrace. Her visit to Warner Bros.' office was something she let her followers know about. A short while after that, the star of Happily Ever After caught Matt in the act of carrying their daughter in the office. The office of the Food Network was another location where Jasmine posed. She described it as a combination of Healing in the Kitchen with Jazzy meets the Food Network. While posing at their workplace, the reality TV star was incredibly enthusiastic. In her subsequent Instagram story, Jasmine returned to her hotel room, admitting that she was exhausted from a long day. Her words were a mix of exhaustion and joy. "So much fantastic news came my way today," the blessed 38-year-old said, thanks to Jesus. So people were curious about the link between Pineda's trip to Warner Bros. And the Food Network's headquarters. Some even went so far as to say she might have landed a TV cookery show. While considering her options, Pineda has been keeping an eye out for work-from-home opportunities. She has decided to end her financial dependence on her 90 Day Fiancé appearance. Is Jasmine hosting her own show, in your opinion? How do you feel about this? Leave your opinions in the space provided. Matt Brainius breaks his mom's trust after spilling Jasmine's truth. "I'm disappointed." On 90 Day Fiancé, Matt Branastarianu at last plucked up the guts to confess to lying to his mother. He told her everything he had been hiding about their relationship. When the TLC star acknowledged lying to his mother about his engagement, he betrayed her confidence. Jasmine is still married to someone else and is awaiting her divorce. Matt told her he had no desire to harm his family, particularly his mother. To keep their faith, the reality TV personality made up a few lies. But Jasmine didn't want to lie her way into a new life. She wanted her boyfriend to be open about her background with his family. What is Matt's mother going to do? What was her response? Will Jasmine be accepted by her? Continue reading to learn more. On 90 Day Fiancé, Matt Branastarianu was particularly anxious about his family's initial encounter with Jasmine. He told his baby mama that his mother and sister would be stopping by. The reality TV personality acknowledged deceiving them about being engaged. Additionally, Matt refrained from informing them of her present marital status and her second marriage. When they first met on Happily Ever After, he was thrilled to see Jasmine accepted with joy. His baby mama is smart, humorous, and gorgeous, according to the reality TV star's mother and sister. Matt's mother was shocked to learn that he was a father. After meeting Jasmine, she was overwhelmed and unsure of how to react. God accepted me as a sinner, and all of us, Jasmine too, the mother of the reality TV star declared. When Jasmine and his family met, Matt appeared strange and uneasy. He said nothing, just listened to their chat. At last, the 90-day fiancé celebrity found the strength to be honest with his family about his relationship. Matt revealed some shocking information about his mother and sister in a recent teaser. Jasmine is still married to someone, and she is going through a divorce, and I lied about us being engaged, he said. Jasmine added her perspective to the discussion. She acknowledged that she had come to the nation to wed her lover. I gave that person 5 years for our relationship, but it didn't work, she clarified. When Matt's mother heard the truth, she appeared devastated. She admitted to feeling let down in front of the cameras. She didn't, however, panic or make a scene. Rather, the mother of the TLC star chose to offer prayers for her son and his future spouse. When Matt told his mother everything, he appeared very humiliated. However, he appeared relieved that he had told her nothing. Matt's mother and sister were commended by fans for their mature handling of the situation. She deserves Mother of the Year for keeping it together while not getting all of the toxic details, one fan commented. Despite their sweetness, another user decided to be kind. Others said Matt's family deserved to know the truth and were happy that he had come clean. After hearing the awkward circumstances, a number of viewers commended his family for not passing judgment or being poisonous. How do you feel about this? Comment below with your thoughts. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.